So this is a quick and dirty explanation of how we've balanced making you able to play both circular chess and normal chess on the same board. And that sounds wild, but give me a sec. So, in Titan's Battalion, we have a battlefield and territory system. Battlefields being this blue area that starts the game as the board, and then you attach the other armies to the side. And this allows us to do things like make the chess army, or the Shang-Chi army, or the Shogi army, or others face things. Now, that does mean that any valid layout of these 16 chess pieces probably behaves pretty similar. However, some of them might be weird, so we want them to be weaker. And while I was going through the list, like looking at potential alternative layouts, I stumbled across this, Byzantine chess, also known as circular chess, which is exactly what it looks like. The pawns are marching towards each other in these little corridors that are 4 squares wide, and it's just a big circle, but all of the squares and movements work identical otherwise. Now, in order to make this work, we've done this, and it actually makes it harder for you to properly develop because this is the full territory, and therefore this side here has some issues for pawn development. They don't get into the center nearly as fast as this side, because if you'll see, the normal chess army is able to get here in one scoop, but on one side of that circular board they only get to here. And now this inclusion is controversial. Some people just don't like the fact that we're including curved boards, saying it's a meme. We very deliberately tried to inhibit development and make things weaker. As you can see, the bishop can't even get out onto the battlefield itself, even after you move the pawns, so bishop development is slowed. This knight in the back, its development is slowed by a square, like half a turn. And the pawns have trouble developing as well. In exchange, you have your rooks stacked at the start of the game. Castling doesn't do much, to be honest. And this is what you're left with. And this little center column also does weird things to king safety. I'm not going to say it's higher, because you can attack from both sides, but it does weird things to king safety. Now, this required a ton of rulings and extra stuff to make it viable, but essentially, once we get the game fully done and we aren't just using this lovely fan-made web app by Discord user Gluttony Main in order to let the armies face each other, you're going to be able to use that layout. The goal is for it to mostly be a meme and it to be weaker than just using the normal layout, but it is cool, and I'm sure there are players who will want to use it. It's just a matter of making sure all of the rulings work properly, because believe it or not, curving the board causes problems sometimes. So that's it. That's how we included Byzantine chess in Titan's Battalion.